Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
So now we are done with the relations which India has with its neighbors or its neighboring countries, and then we saw the foreign policy of India, which is rooted in non-alignment policy, and what kind of relations it shares with the superpowers or the big powers like USA and USSR, and how it has evolved over a long time period. So after doing this and looking at it closely, now we have a set of questions from this topic 2, and those are: the first question, the treaty signed between India and Pakistan in 1960 is called, we know it is Indus Water Treaty. The dispute over water and how World Bank comes as a mediator, and then the Indus Water Treaty gets signed between India and Pakistan. The next question is, the Panchsheel Pact is a series of agreements between the People's Republic of China and India. So you have to say, is it true or false? The statement says that the Panchsheel Pact is a series of agreements between people of China and India, and it is true. So the Panchsheel Pact was signed between India and China. What is NAM? So we know, we had gone into details of what it stands for. It is non-alignment policy, and when India became independent, there were two superpowers in the world, USA and USSR. India chose to be friendly and India chose to be friendly to both superpowers, but did not let any of them dictate terms to it, and this was called the policy of non-alignment. So here the question will be, what is the policy of non-alignment? Another question is, write the failures of India which is hampering its growth. What is the challenges which is being faced by India, and what are the struggles which India is right now going through? So we can see that even after so many years of independence, deep divisions persist in India, in this society. Despite constitutional guarantees, the untouchables, the Dalits, face violence and discrimination. So the lower caste people continue to face discrimination. In many parts of rural India, they are not allowed to have access to many places. They are not allowed to be there or to have access to those places which they want to be part of. And despite secular ideas enshrined in the constitution, there have been clashes between different religious groups in many states. So these are all factors which is limiting India and is hampering or harming the growth of India. Another long answer question is, what is the common problems that India and Myanmar have? How do they tackle it? So this is mainly the relation between India and Myanmar and what all problems does it have. And we see that India has a tradition of close ties with Myanmar, as both were once part of British India. Both the countries share common history of struggle against British imperialism. That is why they have a common history of fighting against British imperialism. India and Myanmar have historical ties in the field of culture and religion as well. So India and Myanmar shares some kind of strong ties in the field of culture and religion. So there have been problems of illegal migration and smuggling between these two countries. So the second part of the problem, which India and Myanmar faces is illegal migration and smuggling of goods between these two countries illegally, and these problems have been resolved by diplomatic talks and meetings of top leaders. So, to a large extent they have succeeded in resolving these problems through high level talks and meetings of top leaders. So, with this we end this chapter, and here in this chapter titled India After Independence, we started by looking at national and regional problems which India faced right after independence. So, it started with partition in 1947, which led to the problem of refugees, because a large number of people were dispossessed and displaced and made refugees. So, thousands got killed, and the newly formed Indian government had to face the problem posed by the refugees. And then we saw how the integration of princely states to the Indian Union was a difficult task, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, through his instrument of accession, plays a major role in integrating those princely states, and the exceptions of states like Junagadh and Kashmir and Hyderabad, and how later these states also get integrated. And from there we looked at the regional problems which India was then facing with post the formation of constitution and its coming into effect on 26 January 1950. Then came the problem of the linguistic minorities and the formation of states on the basis of linguistic provisions. So, how initially the Indian state was reluctant to divide states on the basis of language, and how at a later stage we have provinces divided on the basis of language, and these are issues. And later we saw the question of national language and the official languages, which language was then considered to be the language to be used by common people, and why till today we have English as one of the official languages. And in the second topic we looked at questions relating to India's relations with its neighbors, and then from there we looked at India's foreign policy, which includes non-alignment policy and its relation with major powers like Russia and USSR. So, here we end this unit where we closely looked at India after independence and the path India followed in the time after independence.